Good morning, Savannah, Georgia. Good morning. How is everybody this morning? We are here this morning. We are going to have a great show this morning. We're waiting on Miss Fenika Miller to get on. She will be on shortly with us. But this morning we have the illustrious and the most beautiful Dr. Pat Harris with us. We have our guest host, who's always in rare form, and that is Natavia Sanders. And we're just going to talk this morning about, hey, we're going to talk about the news this morning and what has transpired and how we can do what we have to do to fix things. Uh, just yesterday, read an article that was sent out by the Secretary of State of Georgia. A new, a new way to deter people from voting. They're giving people the opportunity to volunteer and not vote and make it legal, because you can go up there and rescind your right to vote. And I tell you, if you don't realize how important your vote is, you're in trouble. If your vote is that important that they have to think of ways to stop you from doing it, you ought to find a way to do it. It's just that simple. Anybody wants you to not do something, you should find a way to do it if it's the right thing to be doing. And your voting is your right. So why shouldn't you vote? And Dr. Harris, what's your thought on what your Secretary of State did?
Well, he is the Secretary of State and has the right to do what a lot of other people in his little group are doing, and that is trying to prevent people from voting. I think at this point there is an issue with some people like him who have recently found out that things are changing. The tide is changing, and the huge monstrosity of mess that they have going on and have had going on for years is now being changed. The tide is changing. Um, there will be so many ways that people will be prevented from voting. They have nothing else to do but try to create ways for individuals who should be allowed to vote, have the right to vote, and the privilege to vote. They're trying to create ways to prevent that from happening. And at this point, I believe that they should find something better to do with their time instead of what they are doing right now. And it's only going to get worse. So we just have to really pay attention.
Yes, well, he said how Rastenberger simplifies canceling voter registration, increasing voter roll accuracy. We've been joined by Miss Fenika Miller, who has been and who is and who may still be when I finish this show, a good friend of mine. Miller, what's your thoughts on yeah, he's your state secretary of state too, canceling voting registration.
Good morning, y'all. Thank you for having me. We're gonna always be friends, Mr. Jerome. You don't have to worry about that. I didn't hear the question because I just came in. So if you can repeat the question so I can make sure I know what I'm speaking on.
Okay, Brad Raffensperger simplifies canceling voter registration yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
and want to know what's your thoughts on that. I told him that's just another way to keep people from voting.
So I have, multiple thoughts. I'm definitely always a proponent of having more access to the ballot, and not disenfranchising people. I'm one of those folks who believes in, everybody stays on the roll, whether or not you exercise your right to vote or not, right? But until you pass away or you move out of state or you request your registration to be changed or altered, I do believe that we should keep folks on the vote on the rolls who have registered to vote. So, with that being said, I'm not a proponent of any legislation that removes folks. I know that periodically, local boards of elections will clean up their rolls, but again, my stance is maybe much more liberal than most people. Don't take anyone off the rolls until they are deceased, that they transition, or that they move out of state or request it.
See, that's what he's doing. He's trying to make it legal so he can people can to my knowledge, he's making it legal for people to request to be removed from the voter roll when it probably will suggest to people you need to be removed from the voter roll. You can they can suggest things to people, and people are, well, I'm gonna go ahead and do that because that's what they say. I don't do everything they say. I ain't never been able to do everything they told me yet. Even you, and you run an iron fist. All right, but let's talk about something more important than Raffensperger right now. We have a chance to have the first black woman sit in the White House as president. And I know that we have uh, been rallying around this since the president decided he's not going to run. What are y'all thoughts this morning? We're going to start with Natavia on that one, and then we're gonna walk our way down.
I am, first of all, I'm excited that Biden decided to go ahead and rest and enjoy the rest of his years in retirement. So um, that's my position. I'm still watching Kamala. I have to make sure that I say her name correctly. Someone taught me just say comma, then la. So it's Kamala. Um, and again, we haven't heard a lot from her in her VP seat. So I'm interested in just watching what her platform is going to develop into. So um, right now, I don't have a lot to say.
All right. We got two sorority sisters here. What's your thoughts? We'll start with, first of all, Fenika, go ahead and introduce yourself formally. I'm sorry. We came in. Go ahead and introduce yourself formally, and then you can tell us what your thoughts are. You're on mute. How you're still there you go. There you go.
Okay. All right. I'm Fanika Miller. I am one of the national field co-directors for Black Voters Matter Fund. We are a national voting rights organization, capacity building and power building org. Got our start in Alabama, led by our fearless co-founders, Cliff Albright and Latasha Brown. I formerly served as the state organizing manager in Georgia. And now my portfolio includes Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, and Texas. So those deep South problematic states, right? But more powerful states. I would just say that. I'm going to change that problematic into power. And so that is who I am. And thank y'all for having me today. As far as my thoughts on the upcoming election, we're going to.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm
Because
sorry.
we are a nonpartisan organization, we're going to keep it the same way that we always do. We're going to
Yes.
focus on building power from the grassroots up. We're going to focus on making sure that our folks have the information that they need to make informed decisions. We're going to continue to invest in Black-led groups and Black-led organizers on the ground. We're not going to be apologetic about our focus on Black people. We're going to invest in their capacity to do their work better. And we are going to be outside in the streets talking to everybody that we can to let them know that their vote is powerful, that we can't cede our votes to anybody. We can't afford to sit out, and that we're going to show up in November.
Awesome.
All right. Miss Harris. Dr. Harris.
I'm good.
You good?
Yes. So, you want me to speak about Kamala Harris, VP? Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Well, I do believe that it's the best thing that ever happened to the United States of America. First and foremost, I'm a former history teacher and administrator. So I can tell you that I have, out of 34.5 years in education, I have never witnessed anything that we are witnessing today. We've never had a female president of the United States of America, and I think it's time. After all of these years, I believe that it is time, and it just happened to be Vice President Kamala Harris, who has stepped out into those waters to make a difference. And when I tell you she stepped out into the water, yes, she has. All of the criticism that she's getting from some people is undeserved, but she is so infinite in her wisdom. She is so wonderful in her speech and her return of all of the negative comments that come at her, that I'm really proud of her. She is on the sea in deep water, but I believe that she knows exactly what she's doing. I think she's learned from President Biden about the country and what needs to happen in our country. There are loads of people who are upset that she's decided to run for president, but the momentum is so high. When I tell you it is high, it's high. And prayerfully, and I'm not speaking for anybody but Pat Harris. I hope she's going to win because she's got my vote. And so with that, I believe she will bring new energy to young people who have decided they're not going to do anything because they don't like the regime. They don't like anything that's happening. But she is bringing new energy to young people to register and to go vote. She's bringing a finesse to the presidency that has been missing for a very long time. She's embracing not just women, she's embracing everyone. And I believe that she will be the greatest, one of the greatest presidents of the United States of America. I believe that with all my heart and my soul. And I think that she is so knowledgeable about the United States of America. She is an attorney. And I don't believe that she's going to allow them to treat her just how they want to treat her. She's standing up unapologetically, ready to handle each and everything that comes her way. And so I can say that I'm really proud that she is doing what she's doing. I think that she will be the best thing for our country right now that is torn apart. And she will be able to galvanize and mobilize people enough to bring it back to where it needs to be. And it will be safe for our children. and our families, our universities, our everything. I think she will be able to do that because she'll surround herself with the people who are going to help her to um, manage this system that has been corrupt for so long.
I tell you, she's brought a new life to the people,
Mm-hmm.
especially in the form of contributions.
Mm-hmm.
I have not seen in 2 days anyone raise that kind of money,
No.
and people they're steady raising money, and they're
Mm-hmm.
making sure that she has the money she needs.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to have to put the money. They're going to have to put the money in the streets to make sure that she gets the votes that she needs.
Exactly.
And we're going to have to do that and make sure that we put the people in the streets. And when we do that, it's going to be all boots on the ground. You can't sit home. You got to get up. We've got races. We got races right here in the city of Savannah that needs all boots on the ground right now. We got a sheriff race. We got a coroner race. We've got several district races coming up. All boots need to be on the ground, and a lot of people don't understand when you say boots on the ground. But when you say boots on the ground, that means all hands on deck.
Yes.
I want y'all to think about that for just a minute. We're gonna take a quick break, and we will be right back.
Oh, I mean, my friend, your Savannah homeboy, Clarence Thomas, made sure that I don't go to prison.
So Julius is in there talking to Trump. Ooh, I'm telling.
All right, we're back. The fundraising that is going on. Dr. Harris, what's your thought on the fundraising that's going on? Is it going the way you think it should go, or you think it should be a little bit bigger, a little bit faster?
Well, I can tell you that I've been on some of those calls with the contributions and with listening to the comments, listening to women rise up. And when I tell you they're rising up, and it is not just women who look like me or Ms. Miller or Ms. Mobley. It's all kinds of colors and shapes and forms and whatever you want to call them. They're all rising up and they're spending their money. They're putting their money into her campaign. And I think it's awesome. It's the first time I've seen men step up to the plate, but the men have been just as bold and audacious as the women. I mean, they are putting their money where their beliefs are. And I think she's done well in the few days that after she's made that announcement, she's done really well. And I think it will continue to flow, but it's up to us to keep it flowing. And it's up to us to make sure that she has everything that she needs, every tool that she needs to win this race. And I think there are enough people behind her to make sure that that is happening. Right now, she has nothing to worry about. She's over $200 million. So that's great. And she can put people in the streets, volunteers. She's got loads of volunteers already. So they just need to get out and do the work that she expects for them to do. So I think the fundraising has been really great for her.
All right. Ms. Miller, what can we do in as far as you are concerned, and the organization is concerned, with getting the vote out now? What all do we need to do to get the vote out?
So again, our work is nonpartisan. We don't do our work on behalf of any candidates or political parties. We are simply focused on investing in Black-led organizations, capacity building, power building, and helping folks connect the dots around the issues that we are seeing and facing, and helping them understand who pulls the lever of power for that issue. I think the energy, the historic levels of fundraising that you're seeing is a testament that folks are, not choosing between left or right, but they're choosing between up or down. Like we are really fighting back against the opponents of progress. And I think you see that energy on the ground. That's why you're seeing all of the things with the investment, with all of the calls, with the coalition building. As far as what we can do, of course, grassroots mobilization. That is the number one thing. We are in this is the 60th anniversary of Freedom Summer. We can't dispel the foundation that has been laid and the organizing path that was taken in order to get us here. Next month will be will be at the Democratic National Convention will have their ability to officially nominate their candidate of choice. But I think back to our dear ancestor, Sister Fannie Lou Hamer, who shook up the world at the convention in 1964. And what they were able to do that summer to register folks to vote, to educate, to hold mock elections, to get on the floor and to give a speech, that put some of the tactics and disenfranchisement and the oppression on full display for folks. So we have to get back to those basics. We have to get back to the grassroots mobilization, knocking on doors, making phone calls, talking to our friends, our neighbors, our coworkers, our colleagues, just to employ those similar tactics, community organizing, voter registration drive. And we and our partners across the state and across the country do this, 365 days a year. We have to continue to place an emphasis on voting rights. As you entered into the we're talking about voter purges, cleaning up rolls, and today voting rights remains a critical issue. So, talking about voting rights, combating voter suppression, advocating for fair redistricting, making sure that everybody has access to the franchise. Telling our stories, the use of personal narratives. I think one of the things that resonates with young folks, you can see how TikTok is taking off. Everybody has something to say about what connects them to the vote and how they organize, how young people are using social media platforms. But we got to be able to connect the 1964, the 74, the 84. What's your origin story into organizing? Why is this important to you? To the real issues. And again, who pulls the lever of power? We have to continue to challenge the systems. I don't know if y'all saw Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, and how she fights back and she speaks truth to power. She's not afraid or unashamed to say exactly and to call a spade what it is. We have to challenge those systems of, systemic racism and inequality and all the other injustices. We got to continue to build coalitions. You see what that is happening now with, all of these calls. More folks are getting engaged. Folks are connecting with allies. We're understanding how your issue is my issue and how we can work together, even if we don't agree on all of the things. And then finally, to do more of this that you're doing, providing a platform through media and raising public awareness, engaging supporters, using your platform to spread the message, and helping to shore up those organizing efforts on the ground.
I hear you. I hear you. We have a few weeks ago, what was it? 2 weeks ago, we did an event about John Lewis, and it was quite for us. It was for me. It was quite an eventful event because I went and I wound up having to speak, and good trouble is good to get into, and you don't realize a lot of times how good a trouble you get into until you've gotten into it. And the person reminded me that you've been getting in good trouble for a long time. I said, "Well, I ain't gonna stop now." So we have to keep getting into good trouble. We have to realize, and the young folk have to realize what good trouble really is. They hear the word trouble, and a lot of them say, "Well, I don't want to get in trouble." But you have to realize the difference between good trouble and bad trouble, and we have to be able to tell these young folk, "Well, this is good. You got to do it this way, or you do it that way," and show them that right from wrong, and where the mistakes are being made. We can sit here and we sit around and we chastise, but we don't show. And I think now it's time to start showing the younger folk. Like Dr. Harris said, uh, President soon to be elect Harris will be. She's bringing out the younger people. She's igniting the younger folk. And if she ignite the younger folks, they've got to know where they're going at with the energy that they have. Now, Ted,
I
you
want to
got
jump
something to say?
in for a minute. How is she igniting the young people? I know maybe it's exciting to see symbolically a person of color, to be running for that position, but I still haven't seen a lot in her platform as far as what she's getting the young people excited for. I'm a community organizer, and here in Illinois, the young people are not excited like what I'm hearing. So I'm on the ground most of the time. I've been in politics for over 30 years of my 46 years. And I'm trying to understand the platform of what we're pushing. I even before we started the show, I just went down her timeline to even see what her talking points was just on her page. It's all about Roe versus Wade. So what else is it that we're getting them excited about? I'm
Dr.
looking for
Moore.
voter education is what I'm looking for, because I'm on the ground with the people. They're telling me we're not dumb. We see this, we hear this. We have an internet that they can verify, check, fact check. So what is it that we're so excited about when it comes to Kamala, besides her being symbolically another person of color that they usually don't allow into this seat?
Dr. Miller, I'm gonna let you have that one. So, because you got to get off in just a minute, so I'm gonna let you answer. I'm gonna let you start on it at least.
Yeah, I mean, I will start, but again, our work is nonpartisan, so we don't work on behalf of any candidates, right?
Right.
We are seeing more young people engaged. They're asking questions about Project 2025. They are taking a deep dive themselves into that, right? They are seeing some of the voter purges. They are seeing, folks trying to purge students at historically Black institutions. They're asking questions around, the funding for schools and disparities. They're asking questions about the economy, about jobs. And so my role and the role of our team and our partners is to make sure that they connect those dots and they are able to connect it back to the ballot. Then they can do their own research. As far as the energy, I will say, again, young people are doing, their research. They're excited to have an opportunity to not vote for two white men, right, at the top of the ticket. I'm not an ageist because I am, my toes are already over there close to the other century, right, that I've been on this side of the earth. But I think folks want to see expansion of folks who are able to run. They want to see representation, but they're also asking questions and being mindful that just because you have representation doesn't necessarily mean, that this person may or may not be the best candidate, right? Because sometimes representation doesn't always use their power for good. But I think folks are willing to give the newest candidate in the race an opportunity to show and prove. And I think just having an option has excited a lot of folks in the communities, and we see that. My sister-in-law, who's never been engaged in politics before, was excited to be on one of those calls last night. My youngest brother, who has never been engaged in politics before, a young black brother, right, who just turned 35, right, never been engaged. He said that he wants to put a sign in his yard, right? And so, you know, my challenge to them and even to my young son who's 24 is to one, do your own research, but I'm not going to tempt out the energy that they have and the excitement to engage for the very first time because they have better options. And I think that is a driving force.
Well, Dr. Harris, before I get back to let you answer that, Dr. Miller, I know you two have to leave, and we enjoyed having you. You got to come back, though. You got to promise me you're coming back.
Yes, sir.
And I will talk to you later today because I need to talk to you about something, okay?
Yes, sir. He
All
called me
right.
doctor, y'all. He's trying to get me to go back to school, right? I don't have the time. Dr. Harris, I'm gonna let you have that. I appreciate y'all for having me. I can't wait to get back down to Chatham County. Sister Natavia, I would love to connect with you offline. You talk that talk and I like it. And so yeah, y'all have a great day and thank y'all for having me.
Okay.
All right. You're welcome. Talk to you
Bye-bye.
later. Love you. All right, Dr. Harris. You want to chime in on some of that?
Well, I understand Ms. Mobley's words. She doesn't see the excitement, or she's not feeling, or whatever. That those may not be her words, but I'm just using something that I'm thinking that she might be feeling. However, I'm in a college community, and I can tell you that last week, um, I was, I'm going to say, blessed and ordered and needed to go to the elections office in Savannah. And I really didn't understand all of it. I didn't understand what was really going on until I got there. And what was happening is that there was a female, I'm not calling her name, was trying to purge 20,000 people from the roll. And she presented her request to the elections board. Someone ordered me, I will say, to go to that meeting. And of course, I went, and I was just shockingly surprised at what was happening. Out of the 20,000 people she wanted purged from the roll, 685 of those were on the university campus. And of course, I took offense to it because I wanted to know where she was so she could defend what she was saying. She was not there, she was not present. And in my speech to them, to the elections board, is that I'm coming on behalf of myself. Regardless of who sent me, I'm coming on behalf of myself. Speaking for the students who are not present. Why aren't they present so they will know what you're doing? And I simply said, you're not going to do that. 685 students, young adults who want to vote, but you trying to purge them from the role. What is the reason why they're being purged from the role? Well, nobody could tell me anything. And I let them know that those were somebody's children on that campus. They belong to someone, but you're just going to purge them because someone is asking you to do that. I think you need to leave that alone. And I said to them that I'm a fighter. I don't fight physically, but professionally, I will fight. And this will be a fight for me, and it'll be a good fight. So I just believe that you need to not vote on that measure. And whatever you decide to do with those 20,000 people, maybe she needs to come and explain, and I'll come back and hear what she has to say. But I think at this juncture, your vote ought to be no. And of course, they did vote no, not just because of what I said, but anyway, we have a messy situation going on, and these type of behaviors are going to start surfacing, and they're going to continue to surface. These are young people, and I know that some young people are excited about this presidential election because there's new flavor here. There's new excitement. All they have been listening to, and 3/4 of them don't listen to it at all, is talking about how old somebody is and what they can't bring to the table because of their age. So I think young people are seriously engaged. I hear it a lot in their voices. I see a lot of things on Facebook. I don't respond to a lot of things, but I hear, I see it, I feel it. And I'm on that campus a lot. And I think this is a new epiphany for them, that they see something different. Like Fenika said, I'm in a nonpartisan organization as well. That I'm not speaking for any of them. I'm speaking for myself. And I'm not endorsing anyone. What I'm saying is that we have too much at stake at this point to continue the pathway that we're on. And in case nobody knows or pays attention to Project 2025, we all better pay attention, because that is simply the doormat for authoritarianism in our democracy. I can tell you that because I'm a history teacher. And when you want people,
we're going to talk about 2025 in just a minute.
Okay.
We're going,
all right. Well,
we're going to take another break real quick, and we'll be right back.
Okay. Okay.
I guess we lost Miss Harris for a moment.
No, but you probably took out because I thought we were going to be longer than that. But okay.
Yeah. Normally we have lots of videos, so commercials. Yeah. But I'm still haven't heard like us talk about the actual platform of what Kamala's running on. Like I said, the only thing I've seen really is Roe versus Wade. She made an appearance on RuPaul's show, but I really haven't seen anything tangible. She did go visit Israel. And she looked really nervous when she did visit Israel. And then right behind that, President Trump visited Israel, and he had like a whole round table that he showed, and they seemed like they had really good relations as far as he even was talking to him about a ceasefire. So it's that type of stuff we're looking for. People are still calling up on what's going on in Israel. America is funding both wars between Ukraine and Israel. So it's those type of things of, okay, this is still the administration she's coming out of. What is her plans? give us something of substance, like you deal with the college community, I deal with the community. And I'm listening to real issues and the real people that may not have academically the credentials behind them, but they've been living long enough to know what's right, what's wrong, and what they want to see happen through her if she is the elected president, what they want her to see her do in her term. So I'm still looking for platform. I'm looking for things that I can sell her on if I'm going to have to sell her. I am a Democrat. I'm not bipartisan, but I am also still a human to where I'm not dumb. I'm a Democrat. I'm not dumb, and I'm talking to other people, and I really need some substance to give them.
But here's the thing though, and a lot of people don't realize it. There's a lot of things goes on behind closed doors, and y'all excuse my lighting, but my lights up here going on and off for some reason. I'm getting dark and getting bright at the same time. But there's a lot of things that goes on behind closed doors now. What Trump, well, what one like to do is make the other one look bad, and haven't told the whole truth his own self. So you have to wait out what's going on. Uh, I would say that if you look at Project 2025, that
I
tells
read
the
all
whole.
900 plus pages of it. It doesn't scare me. It sounds like institutional racism that's been going on all my life. So it really don't scare me. It's
It
institutional
may be
racism.
institutional racism
It's
that's
still
been going on. It
mechanisms
may be
that they're
institutional
using.
racism, but it hadn't been not the way he's talking about doing it. You haven't seen some of the stuff that would happen. And I think Dr. Harris me and Dr. Harris probably old enough to go back and talk about some of the stuff that they're talking about in that Project 2025. I've been to the point where I've been to restaurants to sit down to eat, and they say bring you rotten food and tell you got to pay for it. No, we don't have to do that. We don't have to go back and get back to where we can't make a living for our families no more. And that's what's about to happen if they keep up with Project 2025. Dr. Harris, you were getting ready to say something about that 2025. Go ahead. We're gonna let you go ahead and talk about 2025.
All right, thank you. So first and foremost, I'm not just on college campuses, I'm in my communities. And I have loads of communities that I go into and have been in for a very long time. So it's not just a college community. I'm trying my best to embrace the young people. Of course, I'm going to do that because they're our future and they need to understand and grow in grace in our future. What I was saying about Project 2025 is the recipe for disaster. It is covered in authoritarianism, and I have read it always. Also, not only have I read it, people send stuff to me about it all the time. I'm engaged in it because that's what I need to do, and that's how I feel. I need to understand it myself. Is read. When you say you're going to demolish the Department of Education, why? Why would you do that?
It's trash.
When you say, well, it's not all of it is not trash.
A lot of those public schools are prison preps. I've been subbing for over 11 years between 3 different regions, and all of them are the same. There's something wrong with that.
Okay, so let me finish, please. I am 34.5 years a teacher and administrator. And I can say to anyone on this call that I'm privileged, I'm blessed. And I know that our school systems, now some of them, yes, are in need of improvement, grave need of improvement, but there are many who are doing what they're supposed to do with what they have. If I were to, and people ask me all the time to come back, no, you're not paying enough, and there's too much trouble. We're not doing what is expected of us in our school systems. We don't have the dedicated, loyal teachers, and I'm not saying that the ones there are not, but what I am saying is that we need to spend time finding more certified, more who are engaging to our young people, and more training for our teachers. We also need our parents involved in the educational system. It's not just the teachers, it's not just the principal, it is all of us. Parents send their children to school to learn. This project wants to demolish the Department of Education. And again, I will ask why. There's no reason for you to demolish. There is reason for you to improve and pour money into education so that you can have qualified people teaching children, and you can have those teachers who are dedicated and loyal and committed to stay in that field. Everybody had a teacher. I don't care who it is. Your teacher could have been your parent. It could have been your friend next door. It could have been anyone. But everybody's had a teacher. They may not have been certified. They may not have had 4 years of college. They may not have had internships, but they had a teacher. And for that stood out with me. Also, you want to get rid of the FBI and all of those people. You want to have a person in charge of a country who thinks that he's going to have unlimited power. That's authoritarianism. And I have never, in all of my years, seen anything like this corruptness that's going on. And that is my opinion about it. I study, read, and listen to those who have taken it upon themselves to dissect that document. And then look who wrote it. Look at the people.
You talking the Heritage Foundation?
What is your position on why you want all of these things to occur in the United States of America? Why? So those are questions that I'm asking myself, and I'm open about it. I'm passionate about it because of my field. I'm not stupid, nor am I crazy. That is a recipe for authoritarianism. And if that is the way people in the United States of America, which I don't believe that, want to live, then people need to go back and find out what those systems are like. That is what I believe.
I hear I hear everything you're saying. I hear both of you. One thing that I would say, Natavia, is when you say I'm a product of the public school, but when we were going to school, like she said, you had dedicated teachers.
I encountered that too. I'm 46, but I'm saying my encounter of it recently, me subbing over the last 11 years, it's not the same schools that I went to.
No, it's not.
It's not the same teachers. Most teachers are coming through to have their loans forgiven. They're there for a 5-year commitment to have their loans forgiven, and they're gone. And so it's just a whole turnover of just people coming through and not being invested.
I would not say that. You know why I won't say that? Because they're trying to turn the public school system into a money-making system, a private system, wherein
it might need to have, yeah. It could use some improvements, but right now it's a lot of big daycares going on with a lot of federal money going through it. But just hear me out. I think that the money should be attached to the student, and then that would allow parents a better advantage of being able to put their kids in better private options versus these public schools.
I don't.
So I'm all for it if the money could go to the student and follow the student.
A child you can take a child from when they take our children and put them in these private schools. They're tokens. They're not. They're
Not
not.
a, you did just think
They
about
are
it. If it's
tokens.
money,
That's what they are. They are tokens.
right now, currently in the private school system, just say if we are going to revamp that system, and this is something I've talked to different national education trust people and stuff like that. If we are going to do that, then the money needs to stay attached to the students, because there's a lot of money allocated every year to that particular student that could be the same amount of money that if that family could afford to pay for private school, that they could take that same money and pay for private school with, where there would be more private schools opening up to cater to the students' unique need. We got to understand the public school started off as common school. Black students wasn't even allowed to be in the common school. So yeah, we started educating ourselves, and I think we were doing a better job at educating ourselves than in them schools at this point. If I know you're retired, Dr. Pat, but I'm telling you, I purposely I made sure I had a different assignment every day so I could see all what I've seen. This was my research over the 11 years. And I didn't want to do it in one region. So I picked 3 different metropolitan regions to do it in. And they're all the same. Something's wrong with that.
Well, here's the thing. One of the things that's wrong with it, because they're not putting the money in the system that should be go into the system. Every system, every state that you see, they're cutting education instead of employing the money into education. We have got to understand it. We've got to put the people in the right places to put the money so that they can allocate the money to do the right things. People are getting their pockets lined by these people with these private schools. They're going in and they're getting them. They're making billions of dollars off of these private schools and taking our money to fund them. That's what you've got to realize. We have got about 2 minutes left, and we're going to have to let Dr. Harris. You got 2 minutes to close out for us.
Okay. Well, I will simply say that I'm a product of public education. My children are all products of public education. My family, who have grown into public education, are masters of what they do in public education. And I too take offense to, and this is Pat Harris speaking, not for anybody else. I'm speaking for myself. I am offended by us pouring money into private education like we do. And if the public school is not up to par, then it's up to us to make that change in the public school setting. I have nothing against parents who want to send their children to private schools. That's what they want to do. But for the United States of America, it's a public entity, and we have to have public education for our children because every parent can't afford to send their children to private school. And so all of them need to be up to par, even in the public school, which they don't pour enough money into. And that's our fault that we're not out in the streets and in Congress talking about that, because a lot of people want their children in private school, but they want that public money to keep their children. It happened in Savannah, Georgia. It happened in Georgia, where they're bulking for money for children to go to private school. Well, why don't you take care of the public school? Why don't you give the teacher some money? Why don't you pay for what you get? I don't ever think that I was paid for what I was worth, and I know I was good. And I'm not bragging about anything, but I loved my children. And I took care of them no matter what. And I still love them. That's why I can call them whenever I get ready, and they're going to come. That is because of the dedication. That is because of the love. And that is because of the patience and perseverance that is within some of those schools that my children all went through. And they're all college graduates. So I will never diminish anything about public education. And I wish the best for every candidate. I do. That's running in this next race. I do. But I pray that the voters will wake up, listen, pay attention, and go to the polls and vote.
We thank you, Dr. Harris. We're going to go. We asked everybody, make sure that you register to vote. If you don't know whether you registered to vote, go to My Voters page and check your voter registration. Put your information in and check it. We will be right back here next week at 10 o'clock. My Vulnerable Community. We'll be right back here with you, and we'll have a great show for you. We had a great show today, and we thank you, Dr. Harris, for being here. Thank you, Natavia, for being with us this morning. We thank Dr. Miller for being with us this morning also. She had to jump off. She had another call she had to get on. But we'll see y'all next week in the Vulnerable Community. Bye now.
Good night. Goodbye. Not night.
like that.